Oh, hello, yeah. Well, cold and midweek, isn't it? Those two things. And utter madness resides in the world. Yes, indeed. Good grief. I mean, the stories yesterday. I mean, uh, all that stuff in the Commons from Yvette Cooper about the way that we should be very, very worried about the Chinese. Not entirely convinced about that. I mean, we basically have hitched ourselves to, well, American mega corporations, and by that I mean effectively their government at the moment, and basically they will just decide what we're going to do in terms of our nuclear defence industry as well. So I'm not particularly concerned about what the Chinese might be up to. I think it's the least of our worries. Plus, of course, there's that, well, we mustn't possibly criticise the Israelis. After all, they might not run their arms factories here. That would never do. And in other news, of course, we had yet another reform conference. Yes, but I don't particularly know why. They tend to do them on Mondays, but for some reason there was a Tuesday one as well, which was very much building on Monday's one. But there were lots of questions about immigration because, of course, the Labour Party have tried to out-reform by saying that they're going to be horrible to people trying to come here, which won't win them any votes whatsoever. I'm astounded that anyone in the Labour Party, apart from, well, all of the senior people in the Labour Party, might think that way. It just shows how completely out of touch they are. Yes, people that won't vote for you, maybe if we do something that's a bit like reform, which we can easily be out-reformed on by reform, they'll vote for us. No, it's never worked in the past, and all it does is make people want to vote reform. Not me, obviously. I also don't want to vote for the Labour Party. There you go. Bit of fair comment. Yes. Why don't I want to vote for the Labour Party? Because they no longer represent anything that I'm interested in. Don't really want to vote for that particular variety of a liar. Anyway, just on the back of that, there was yet another reform conference saying about all the great things they're going to cut, because we must cut things, must cut things, must cut things, must cut things. We can't possibly run up the deficit like we are, despite the fact that pretty much all more modern progressive economists say it's not really a problem at all, and maybe we shouldn't keep cutting things because we should put people at the heart of the economy. But I don't think reform are going to do that, or the Labour Party, or the Tories. They had another one with a press conference yesterday. Yeah, nobody bothered. Complete waste of Badenoch's time, even doing anything other than the purely going through the motions, which is effectively about all you're going to get from the Conservative Party anyway. God, grief, I managed to slag off the Conservative Party there as well. Who knows? I might even have a go at the Greens next. Yes. Anyway, yeah, so we had yet another reform conference where they came out with great ideas about all the things that we shouldn't do. One of which was, well, they're going to cut back enormously on benefits because these people are undeserving. The bad people, the migrants, have got to cut back on there, and all those slackers who claim that they've got autism when they really don't. Yes, we need to have different diagnoses whereby doctors should, be able to categorise people with at an umpteenth level, decide what categories of work they can go into. And basically, unless they don't have any legs or maybe a head, then they're going to have to go out to work. Which is why I was drawn to, well, this particular thing in the Daily Mail, Labour's Unequal Britain. Yeah, in-depth report here, where they get free phones, school uniforms and houses. Why can't we? Despairing parents in England's poverty capital bemoan golden treatment of asylum seekers while they scramble to survive on universal credit, which is a tale of a couple in a working household that are feeling very poor and feeling very, very put upon because migrants allegedly get more than they do. And if you want to have a really, 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 really good and insightful look into modern Britain and the way that class divisions are being stoked up, you can look at the comments, because of course all the people in the comments are saying that they shouldn't have any children because they're poor. And anyway, they've got fish, why can't they eat them? They've got a fish tank in the background, they should eat those first. Yes, of course, the undeserving poor. But you'll notice, for example, that the undeserving poor are getting more and more of them, aren't there? Yes, we now have the undeserving children with anxiety and the undeserving children with autism and the undeserving children certainly with ear defenders. Yes, I mean, the other beautiful and certainly what could possibly go wrong thing from reform yesterday was to cut the overseas aid budget, which will save us millions upon billions upon squillions of pounds. Of course they will, because nothing says let's encourage instability in other countries to, well, guarantee that no one will leave that country as an economic refugee. Yeah, can you see that? They definitely won't, will they? Yeah. It's a bit like, all those great plans that Cameron had about 20, well, no, it wasn't, was it? It was about 15 years ago, of bombing places like Libya because, we really must get rid of that Colonel Gaddafi. And strangely enough, what that did was, well, yes, it did get rid of Colonel Gaddafi, but it also had a few side effects as well. And just whilst we're here on reform, did have to smile at Nigel Farage saying that, well, definitely this time round, when I say it, you can certainly believe me, because apparently he hadn't promised that there would be reductions in council tax. He'd never said that. But what I had a look at yesterday was to just check on that, and yes, sure enough, but it is very much on the level of him standing next to the Brexit bus with those numbers on it, and because he didn't actually say anything other than being photographed next to the Brexit bus with the numbers on it, then it means that he didn't in any way, shape or form endorse that. He never said that. And anyway, they did Brexit all wrong, so it's nothing to do with him. The guy that did Brexit. It's nothing to do with him at all. And very much the same way as I do have the feeling that, in the future when council tax bills and reform councils will go up by an enormous amount, it'll be nothing to do with him. Very much the same way that everything is nothing to do with Nigel, and yet he wants to be PM. It'll be quite strange that the amount of nothing that will be related to him when he wants or manages to get to be PM. Who knows? Who knows? It's a very, very odd world that we live in. Still, never mind, eh? Never mind, let's just drift our way into that horrible right-wing melting down society where we just decide we don't care about anybody. I mean anybody. Because if you think that Nigel Farage has your best interests at heart, I'm sorry, but I think I might have to disappoint you on that one. Not as much as he will. Still, for the true believers out there, it doesn't matter. We haven't had proper Brexit, and anyway, it'll be okay with me because even though I'm a bloke on universal credit, once we voted Nigel in, everything will be fine, won't it? Everything will be fine. I mean, I know my child's got autism, but I'm sure that everything will be fine. Probably, won't it? Yeah, probably. Do have a lovely Wednesday. Keep the faith.